Ciao, lovelies. This is Reverend Sky. I wanted to stop in today and chat about conversations with our kids about sex and a couple other things. I feel like we need to change the stigma around it and some other stuff. I feel like we need to change the conversation, and I feel like that can start with us. So in this video, I will go over some tips and things that I did with my kids, some suggestions for you and yours that you may be able to implement in your own way, and hopefully the younger generations won't have the shame and fear that we did around it. So, let's begin. All right. I don't know why I say that word so much, but I noticed I do. Anyways, all right. So, today is talking about sex with your children. Yes, I hold my stylus in my hand. I think that the conversation in America with kids really needs to change because we are absolutely letting our children down by the way we talk to them and the way some of the things that we're saying to them, and we're probably not even knowing that we're doing it. So I'd like to give out some suggestions on that and try to break away from the gender roles and try to break away from you're this and you're that. And okay, first one, the pink and blue idea. The pink being the girl, obviously, because that's what everyone knows to be a girl, right? Pink. Well, I'm a chick. I don't like pink. So if I'm given pink stuff, I mean, quite frankly, unless it's lingerie, I'm not interested. I really have never been a pink kind of girl. So, there's that. But blue, somehow that's always been a favorite color. So, it really doesn't mean anything. I know a lot of people have started saying green and yellow and this color and that color, and it really doesn't matter. A baby doesn't care. A baby likes all colors. So, make the nursery fun for the baby. Don't worry about what color they like. Make it so you like it. I made it, I did Noah's Ark. Not even gonna lie. I did Noah's Ark for my first one because I liked the colors and the animals and like the zebra and, for my daughter. And then I did Looney Tunes characters for my boy because they were characters and they weren't a man or a woman. They were animals again. So, it doesn't have to be a gender thing. So that's a simple one. Let's just right out the bat get rid of the color thing. Let's just do it because frankly my favorite color is black, and well, what's that say? Now, number 2. Number 2 is going to be talking to your kids about friendships and allowing your children to have friends that are of the opposite sex. Now, I know that this may seem very small, but if you don't have boys and girls and everybody that you're hanging out with and getting to know and learning the do's and don'ts of how to deal with a girl as a friend and see them as a human being, then how in the world are you supposed to all of a sudden get to know this mythical, magical creature of the opposite sex that you don't have any experience with because they don't exist until you're, in puberty? And all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a minute, they're kind of cute. Well, you know what would really help is if you had grown up with friends of all varieties and gotten to know how to treat them, gotten to kind of know how they think, been able to go to a friend and say, hey, you know what, I like this girl, what can I do? And actually get advice from an actual person. That would be amazing. And I know that's so minimal, but friendships are so important. They're one of the things that shapes us as we grow older, and minimizing that is just ridiculous. So friends that you make in elementary and high school, junior high, you may not have them forever, but I still have mine. But I made a point. Like, I had weekly parties growing up, and we went somewhere once a month. I had someone and we got a driver, and we would all go to the skating rink, or we would all go to the mall, or we would all go to a movie. But I made sure to have contact and make it a point to make time for these people and to engage and be involved and see what was going on and catch up. And for some reason, my nose is driving me nuts. Someone's either thinking about me or it's my allergies. All right. Long story short, I think friendships are super important. As an adult, I haven't been as good about it, but I also know in my heart, if I picked up the phone and called any one of my friends right now, the conversation would be like we had just talked yesterday or the day before. Because I've worked on them and they know I love them and they know life happens and they know it's okay not to talk every day. So, have them work on friendships. Let them have girlfriends and boyfriends. Because that's the only way they're going to learn how to deal with somebody else or the opposite sex or another gender, is if that is in their life. That is a thing that they will have to deal with. It's other people for the rest of their lives. So they might as well start learning the do's and don'ts when they're younger. What else do I have? I totally took notes. Oh, yes. Following into the whole friend thing. If your child brings home a friend of the opposite sex, or even the same sex, do not ask them if they're dating. When they're older, do not ask them if they're engaged, when they're getting engaged, if they're having a baby, if they're getting married, when they're buying a house together. None of these things are actually all that important in the big scheme of things. So my suggestion would be to quit it. Their identity has nothing to do with what's on their finger or where they live or who owns where they live. What's important is that they have a good relationship. So, letting them be friends, making sure that they understand friends are important. Your family's going to be around, and yes, you want to work with your family and do these things. But your friend group is your chosen family. Those are the ones that you want in your life, that you have asked to be in your life, that you've made space and room for in your life. So make sure that you're working on them. Make sure you check up on them, even if it's once a month, even if it's 3 times a year. Just make sure that you're doing that. And then when they're younger, allow the other friends, allow that to happen. Now, obviously, you need to have boundaries and such, but as a parent, I don't feel like I need to tell you that because you wouldn't be watching unless you were one, I would think. Of course, I might be nosy enough to watch it too, because kids and sex, you usually don't discuss that. But when they're younger, if they have friends that are girls, then it'll make it easier. If they're younger and they have friends that are boys, it'll make it easier. If they're younger and they have friends in their class that are trans, it'll make it easier to see them as people, to treat them as a human being because they've had interaction and they see, oh, well, yeah, they have the same skin scoot. Skin scoot? Nice. Skin suit. The same skin suit. Just maybe a different shade. Maybe they have a different wardrobe. But we're all the exact same. So let's just teach our kids early how to handle things. That way it's not such a big dramatic issue. You know, like the whole unicorn thing. Okay, so you don't talk to girls and your friends are only boys, and then all of a sudden you want to talk to girls, but you've never talked to them before. So how are you going to talk to one? Do you even know? Do you even know where to start? What's your dad going to tell you? Probably nothing. Because he would have already, I'm sure, if he knew. I mean, your mom could maybe tell you how to talk to guys if you had done this before. Like, I don't know. All I know is, if you have friends of the opposite sex, if you allow your child to be involved with more than just a small group of people, all the same, then it's going to make their life and your life much easier in the future because it'll be so much easier to deal with anything else. All right, I'm over that one. Done with the friend thing because I just feel like that's huge. I feel like stop pushing the dating, stop it. Their identity, like I said, it has nothing to do with their romantic relationship. Their other relationships, absolutely. But, next. All right, what's the next one? Oh, yes. The masculinity paradox. Now, we all know femininity made a huge impact, and women are able to do way more than we've ever been able to do. Like, you know what? How many years ago I wouldn't have been able to say anything like this in public eye, much less on a worldwide basis that could be talked to by anybody. these things are relatively new. So, the whole thing is, if a woman becomes an attorney, she is not any less a woman because she became an attorney. But if a man becomes a nurse, why does he have to all of a sudden prove all over again that he's a man because he didn't want to be a doctor, he wanted to be a nurse? Who told us that that was the rule? I need a drink so bad my eyes just got super red. Hold, please. Oh. Yeah, so there's that. Tell them, tell your kid, tell your daughter, yes, be a powerful woman, be independent, be strong, be these things. But I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there is no word for emasculate or loser on the feminine side. No, a woman is no less a woman because she does something. But a man does something that isn't necessarily considered manly, and all of a sudden he has to prove his manhood. That doesn't make any sense. So, just try to think about that when you're talking to them. That it doesn't necessarily have to be about who's better. It's about who's doing it and who wants to do it. And that's it. And who's better at it. And it doesn't have to mean she's better at it. It means she might be better than me at it. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to let her do it because that's what makes sense. What's between our legs means nothing in these instances. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Is some of these little things that we tell the kids, we don't even realize what it's done. Like now that we're adults, we do. So I'm going to gently remind, and, give out my advice. But you can do with it what you want. What else we got? Na na na. Oh, yeah. Okay. Last one. And one of my favorites. When you talk to your kids, when that day that she comes home or he comes home, I'm just going to say they. The day that they come home and they want to talk to you and they're upset because something happened and they don't know how to handle it, or someone hurt their feelings, they got broken up with, whatever it is, when your kid comes to you, ask them, just kind of stop them, calm them down, let them get it out for a second, but then stop them and ask them, say, hey, do you need your parent or do you need your friend? I do this with mine. Because every once in a while, I get a phone call from one of mine, and they're upset, and I'm calming them down, and I don't know if I should cut a bitch, or if I should be consoling my child. So I ask them, okay, who do you need right now? Do you need mom, or do you need a friend? And that is the direction that I will go with the conversation. If they need their mom, I am apologetic. I am comforting. I am kind. I am, oh, honey, monkey, I love you. I cannot believe that happened to you. Oh, baby, I am so sorry. Now, if they need a friend will cut a bitch for you. A friend will get just as angry and irate as you are on the phone and let it bounce back and forth so that energy gets riled up, and the other person, or my child in this instance, gets it all out of their system and bubbles up, and then we can talk about it. But I need to know how to go about it. I need to know where they're at and what their brain is thinking. So just little bits of change that we can do. The actual sex conversation, if you'd like some help on that one, absolutely would love to help. I can always do a video about it if there's enough interest. But these are just little tips that when you do talk about sex, just, little things, just tweak them. The Western culture is really weird about it. The Western culture has a lot of fear. It has a lot of shame. So if we can just do little adjustments here and there, we can change the conversation about sex and make it a lot less scary for a lot of people. That was it. Just wanted to share some stuff. I hope that you guys have the day you deserve. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, tips, video ideas, thoughts, a funny joke, I love jokes. If you have a good joke, drop it below. I will always follow up. And until next time, subscribe.